Okay, so 5A notes are over point slope form, and this is just basically another way to write the equation of a line. So we've done like slope intercept form and stuff before. This is just a different kind, so it's called point slope form. And that's what we have written up here. This is point slope form, so that's the equation. You'll get this formula on your homework, your quizzes, your tests. You'll have that there. So what this requires us to do is basically just plug things in. So it looks kind of confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it should be pretty easy. So your x will go in for x1, your y will go in for the y1, and your slope will go in for m. So that might seem confusing at first, but let's do our first example here. So this number right here is my first x, so it's going to go in for x1. Then this is my y, so it's going to go in for y1. And then the m, the -4, will go in for m. And so we're just replacing those. This y and this x don't change and they don't get replaced. They will always stay y and x. So my answer is y minus, and then instead of y1, I have the number 2. And then equals, and then instead of m, I have -4, parentheses x minus, and then instead of the x1, I have 3. And this is my answer. I've just plugged it in. Now, you might notice, if you look here, this says y minus 2. So this is a -2, but up here, this was a +2. Okay, and then over here, I have a -3, but up here, it was a +3. Your points should always look opposite. So this says minus, and then up here, it's a positive. So your points should be opposite. And you'll see what I mean by that down here on our next example too. So let's jump into our next example. So I have y minus, and I'm doing my y1. So my y1 is this point right here, 1. So y minus 1 equals, and then I have my m, which it just comes first this time, so -2/7, and then x minus my x1, which is -7. So now here, it's x minus -7. So whenever you have a double negative, remember it turns into a positive. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this so we know where we're at too. My goodness. Okay, there we go. So I need to rewrite this to make this a plus sign. So instead, I'm going to have y minus 1 equals -2/7, and then in parentheses, x plus 7. So now if you see what I mean when I said earlier about the points being opposite, this says x plus 7. Well, originally I had a -7, a -7. And then over here it says y minus 1. Well, over here it was a +1. So in your final answer, it should be opposite once you solve it down, once you make the double negatives positives. So let's try another one. So I have y minus -5 equals, and then my slope of 4, and then x minus 3. Now again, I have to change this double negative to a plus, so my answer is actually y plus 5 equals 4, and then in parentheses x minus 3. Again, if you see here, I have a plus 5. Originally, it said -5. Here I have a -3. Originally, it was a plus 3. So those should look opposite. So again, I have my x and my y here. So y, if you want to go right ahead now and do y plus 5, so you know that this becomes the opposite, you can. If that's confusing to you and that doesn't really make sense, if you just want to keep with the formula and do y minus -5 and then go back and change it, you can. So then I have my slope, and then x minus 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and make that a plus. So y plus 5 equals negative 3 over 2, and then x minus 7. Okay, we have 2 more here. I would like you to maybe pause the video and try these on your own and then come back and check the answer to make sure that you know what you're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and do these now. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the double negative part and just jump right into the answer. So this one would be y plus 3 equals negative 1, and then in parentheses x minus 3. And then on my last one here, I would have y plus 5 equals 1, and then in parentheses x plus 2. So again, as you see, I put my slope right here both times. My x here was 3, so it became a minus 3. My y was a minus 3, so it became a plus 3. Here, my x was a minus 2, so it became plus 2. And then it was a minus 5 for my y, so it became a plus 5.